Scripture tells us that Job was a righteous man, but he definitely had his share of suffering in his life. His friends gave him bad advice, telling him his suffering was because of hidden sin, but that wasn't the case. In fact, Job lived a life of justice. He gives us a great example of what just living looks like. Let's read what it says in Job 29:11-17. Whoever heard me spoke well of me, and those who saw me commended me, because I rescued the poor who cried for help, and the fatherless who had none to assist them. The one who was dying blessed me. I made the widow's heart sing. I put on righteousness as my clothing. Justice was my robe and my turban. I was eyes to the blind and feet to the lame. I was a father to the needy. I took up the case of the stranger. I broke the fangs of the wicked and snatched the victims from their teeth. Job's example tells us some practical ways we can show justice. Some of those include rescuing the poor, helping the fatherless, being with the dying, bringing joy to the widows, helping the blind, helping the lame, advocating for strangers, and rescuing victims from the wicked. Elsewhere in Scripture, we can find other examples of just living, such as speaking up for those who cannot speak for themselves, speaking up and judging fairly, defending the rights of the poor and the needy, and keeping ourselves from being polluted by the world. Job helped anyone who needed help. He didn't just help those who could give him something in return. In fact, most people who need justice can't give anything back besides gratitude. The Bible speaks about this in the law. Let's read from the Torah, or the law, in Leviticus chapter 19, verse 15. Do not pervert justice. Do not show partiality to the poor or favoritism to the great, but judge your neighbor fairly. Partiality means to show prejudice or bias towards someone. It means that you favor them when you're supposed to consider both sides. This was and continues to be a common problem in a selfish, sinful world. We cannot show partiality because all people are created by God. No one person is more important than another. Everyone is due the same rights and privileges and access to the things of God. This is justice. You may have heard people talk about their life verse, and this often is the favorite verse or passage from the Bible that Christians focus their calling and ministry on. A common life verse is Jeremiah 29:11. Let's read it. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. While there's nothing wrong with having this as your life verse, it is important that we always remember the context of Scripture, when it was written, to whom, and under what circumstances. This isn't just a happy verse shared as a comforting promise for all of us in every circumstance. This was something that God said directly to an entire nation, the nation of Israel. The you in this verse is plural, meaning all you people. God is talking to people who are suffering injustice. They have been exiled or forced out of their land, and he has told them that the exile won't just be for a little while. It will last for 70 years. He's reminding them that although it won't look like what they expected and will take a long time, he does know what he's doing, and he will redeem them, and he does have something great in store in order to fulfill his plan. We can claim the promises of Jeremiah 29:11 too. As a part of the body of believers, because of what Jesus did on the cross for all people, not just the nation of Israel, we can be assured that God knows that redemption is coming for our lives, even if it takes a really long time to see that. But what's the key here in this verse is that we are reminded of God's heart for those who suffer injustice. He wants our hearts to be for those people too.